If you're looking to relocate to St. Pete in 2026, this video is for you. I'm going to break down the top neighborhoods you need to consider based on your lifestyle, whether that's living near the beach or living near downtown or somewhere walkable, somewhere in between. Maybe you're just a homebody, but we're covering the best neighborhoods in St. Pete, everything you need to know about navigating insurance, flood zones, and finally, I'm going to share a game changer for people who want suburban living near St. Pete without having to be far from Tampa as well. Now, I'm not talking about Wesley Chapel. I'm talking about master plan communities that are within an hour of St. Pete, of the beach, and Tampa, and are booming right now. It's honestly one of the most overlooked areas. While everybody's going to Wesley Chapel, people are choosing this spot day after day. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the top neighborhoods you are going to want to consider if you are looking to move to St. Petersburg, Florida in 2026. So for our first neighborhood, we're going to talk about Disston Heights and the United Central area. So if we are looking at St. Pete, got St. Pete on the east, and then over to the west we have the beach. The reason I notice a lot of our relocation clients are choosing Disston Heights is because it is kind of in that in-between area of you're halfway to the beach, you're halfway to the downtown, to downtown, and you can find something that has a garage, has a yard. If having a pool is important to you, then being in Disston Heights could be a spot that is super advantageous because you can realistically find a home here starting in that 350 range. So for 350,000, you can expect to get a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house with, roughly 1,100 plus square feet and a yard. You're not necessarily going to find a pool in Disston Heights for that amount, but you are going to be able to find a home with a yard and plenty of room for a pool and even a garage. Now, one thing to keep in mind with a lot of the MLS listings, and I've got the flood zone map pulled up too so that you can see just how much of Disston Heights is not in a flood zone. People here talk about it all the time as being the highest point in St. Pete. I think it's like 66 feet around here, but let me turn that off so that we can see a little bit clearer. So you can see 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 299, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 575. This one's 1456 square feet and not in a flood zone. Does it have a pool? No pool. So just for perspective's sake, that's something to look at. Here's another one. This one's 662, 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath, 1928, and this one does have a private pool, but this one also went in 2 days. Now, on average, things are going in about 1 to 2 months in Disston Heights, but a well-priced listing with a pool, which is something that a lot of people want. A lot of people want 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Something like this will go quick because there aren't many. If also the home is really important to you and you want things like a pool, you want things like a garage, you want things like a big yard, but you want to be still near downtown, you still want to be near the beach, you still want to be in a somewhat close to walkable area and not have to go to the suburbs. You don't want to deal with flood zones. You want a solid block construction home, solid concrete slab. Then Disston Heights is a good spot to look at, especially to start looking at, because if you can find something here, most of the other things that you'd want are you're getting, like being near the beach and being near downtown. And so that's our first neighborhood, is Disston Heights. Now, as I said, if you're in United Central and you're going south to Central, you're going to notice that it is like, yes, you're on Central Avenue, and yes, there are businesses here, but it's not really quite as walkable as necessarily you'd want it to be. And so that is the reason that when a lot of folks Google top neighborhoods in St. Pete, Kenwood is one of the top recommended spots. And this has been a popular area for almost as long as I have been in real estate. I mean, I remember taking people to see houses here during the COVID boom, and it was like you could barely get in. Now it's a lot more manageable, but what I've noticed is you don't really see too many good homes come for sale in the Kenwood area too often. And so when something does come up, you'll still see the occasional, not so much bidding war, but the occasional jump to grab it because of how popular the spot is. I'm going to show you. You've got, beautiful, beautiful homes, mostly historic bungalows is what I've noticed, but very, very walkable. And because you just go south of Kenwood, like just barely south, like that was 2nd Avenue. So you go south of here, and now when we go to Central Avenue, okay, now it looks totally, I mean, not there. Now it looks totally different in the sense of every single business almost is a commercial entertainment business or something like that. And so you're going to see a lot more people walking around this side of Central Avenue than over on the other side of 34th Street if you're in United Central. And again, if you're in Kenwood, you can really basically just walk to downtown. And this is what a lot of people like to do, is they like to just hop on Central and then go. And so let's just do how long it would take. Okay, let's say you're there. Let's say that's where you're living and you want to walk. Let's just say we want to walk to, let's say we want to walk just right around here. It's a 34-minute walk, 9-minute bike ride. That's not bad at all. And I would do the whole thing on Central Avenue, right, like that. That'd be perfect. That'd be a great night out for me. It's just, hey, like, go out, get on Central, go east, see where the night takes you. That's a fun night because you can take that all the way down to the very end of downtown, and then you're basically here. You basically, yeah, and then you just walk down to the pier, and that's your walk. I mean, how long would it take you, realistically, if we do that, and then we go here? Yeah, okay, an hour, 2 miles. That's great. So this is why people love St. Pete so much, is because it is so easy to just walk everywhere or bike everywhere, and it is really fun. I'm Aaron Shand, and my wife Aubrey and I are realtors here in Tampa Bay with Excellecore Real Estate. Just last year, we helped over 40 families relocate and purchase a home in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking at St. Pete, Dunedin, Wesley Chapel, wherever it is, Parrish, we're here to make this journey easy. So if you are thinking about making a move, feel free to call the number or text the number that's on the screen right now, and we'd love to get you started, get your home search going, or just even sit down and hear what's important for you. So Kenwood is another spot. Again, here in terms of price points, you're going to be a lot higher than the Disston Heights United Central area, because that's what you're getting. So you're going to be 700 to easily in the $1 million price point if you want to be in Kenwood, and you may have to make a lot of compromises because there are not really too many homes that come up, but they're pretty cute. Like here's one. This one went in 6 days. 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 6 days, 1,000 square feet for $580. But yeah, that's Kenwood. So you got historic Kenwood and then North Kenwood. So main thing to keep in mind is just North Kenwood is not going to be nearly as walkable as historic Kenwood, but we can drop a pin over here so that you guys can kind of just see what it's like. You might not get a brick paved street on every street, but the homes are still absolutely stunning. And you very commonly see ones with the okay, cut it out, with the alleys in the back. So for instance, like right here, drop in a pin. Okay, see, this is all over the case in St. Pete. This is all over the place. And this is what I love about it is a lot of the homes do have alleys behind it, and so you can either park your car there, you can have a garage there, or what a lot of people have done is they have set up an additional dwelling in the back, and this is something you can totally do. If it's not already there, you can totally put one in. It's very easy to do with the city. We have lots of great contacts, and if this is something that's interesting to you, then definitely reach out to us. You could also get our St. Pete relocation guide, which the link for that is in the description, and that has all the details to do with if you wanted to set this up, what the restrictions are, and what to know about going about house hacking in general. And so a lot of the homes, though, in St. Pete have these alleys, and so that's something to keep in mind, because if you are looking to house hack, that is something that can be done in the Kenwood area. And so that's that's Kenwood. Okay, so the next spot we're going to talk about is Gulfport. And the reason Gulfport is super, super cool to me is because it has its own downtown area and its own little beach, which I think often a lot of folks that move here don't know. And by the way, if you do like doing karaoke, they do great karaoke here at Hurricane Eddie's. I think it's on Thursdays. On Tuesdays, though, the entire downtown area gets transformed into a kind of farmers market style bazaar, which is the case with kind of most of the downtown areas in the Tampa Bay area. But Gulfport is its own city, so it's not part of St. Pete. It's pretty small, similar to kind of Safety Harbor up by Clearwater in terms of the vibe, but it is special that it has its own little pier, its own little beach area, and you can even golf cart around in here. Gulfport is one of the rare spots that does allow for Airbnb. The city of St. Pete has a lot of rules around Airbnb, so Gulfport tends to be a popular option for people looking to run Airbnbs in St. Pete because of kind of that downtown area and little beach there. So could be a good option for you to consider as well. Next spot we're going to focus on is the Crescent Lake area. And this is one of the best spots in St. Pete right now. This is a top location because of its walkability, because of its park, its proximity to downtown, 4th Street being right there. The prices for homes in Crescent Lake are still affordable in terms of like what you're getting. Size wise, you're not ending up in a super tiny house in just in a great location, but you can actually find something decent in the Crescent Lake area. I love it because of its walkability. Like if you are anywhere around here, for instance, you can just any of these streets up in here, just being able to walk down to here to get right on the park, right on the lake, walk around the whole lake, go down to the very end where they are always doing pickleball over here. I have no idea what the guy is that puts it on, but it's always going on and it's always popping. I've always wanted to go and join, but it's absolutely beautiful. And then they do have a baseball field here, which actually, fun fact, Babe Ruth played on this field. It used to be the Yankees spring training at one point. Being on 4th Street, 4th Street's really a busy road, driving a lot. You're not really walking on here, but there are a lot of cool restaurants along 4th Street. Sunken Gardens is along 4th Street. You got Trader Joe's is along 4th Street, but I actually really even love the neighborhoods north of the park here. Tons of beautiful homes. You see a lot of unique architectural styles, and then some new construction homes as well, like Canopy. Canopy Homes has been building all throughout this area, and I like their homes a lot because personally, the design of their homes I've found, I like that it kind of resembles the historic bungalows, just personal preference. So it blends in a bit more than like a new kind of modern style construction home. But really, yeah, Crescent Lake is a great spot. The other reason I've seen a lot of people, a lot of locals specifically, start to prefer the Crescent Lake side of 4th Street is because Old Northeast, which has historically been the neighborhood of St. Pete in terms of price point and property value, the homes in Old Northeast, like you can easily expect to spend over $1 million, except in this case. Wow, that's great. I wonder what. Okay, I need some help, but not too bad. But you can easily expect to spend over $1 million for most homes in the Old Northeast area. But they are beautiful, beautiful homes. That being said, a lot of people are coming to prefer the Crescent Lake side. Geez, wow. Because it is significantly easier to find something for, like, here we go. Here's one. Yeah, this is great. It's $635. That's a pretty home. And I believe it has a pool. Yeah, with a pool. So, yeah, that one went quick, 2 days. So that's Crescent Lake though. So the Crescent Lake area is extremely walkable. You can walk straight. You don't see too many people walk to downtown, I will say, from Crescent Lake, but it can be done. I see a lot more people driving though, from Crescent Lake, just because the walk isn't as nice. Like if you really are gonna want to be walking downtown a lot, I would say being in historic Kenwood, that's just a slightly nicer walk, in my opinion, because I would want to be along Central Avenue. Here, the walk is probably going to be a lot more quiet, so that might be nice. But you're mostly walking kind of through all these neighborhoods, but you totally can walk to the downtown. Now, in Old Northeast, it's really more or less the same location-wise as Crescent Lake, but you don't have the park there necessarily, but you do have over on the east side the Vinoy Park, and then also the walk along Coffee Pot Bayou, Coffee Pot Boulevard is really, really pretty. Just right here along it. Tons of beautiful homes along Coffee Pot Bayou. It's like a well-known historic spot in St. Pete. But yeah, so that would be the next recommended top neighborhood is Old Northeast. So I'm glad we're talking about it now. But Old Northeast is always comes up when you search about old St. Pete as a neighborhood that is very, very popular. Average price point here is well over $1 million. But the main con I hear with folks in Old Northeast now, especially now that we've gone through the 2 hurricanes, is that a good portion of it is in a flood zone, and a good portion of it did flood, and insurance costs in these areas where it's in a flood zone, depending on the home that you have, are higher than if they're in flood zone X. If you're in flood zone X, which is this orange side, you're not in a flood zone. You don't have to pay. You're not required to carry flood insurance by your lender. If you're cash and you're in a flood zone, you don't have a lender, so you don't need to carry flood insurance, but it is recommended that you carry flood insurance. Okay, for our next spot, we're going to talk about St. Pete Beach. Really, I want to do a whole video on St. Pete Beach. It's its own city, but one reason that it is a popular spot is because it's on the beach. It's got its own golf cart zone. The Don Cesar is a beautiful landmark that a lot of people notice. It's a famous old hotel. Really, just the main thing to notice is this entire area flooded. So the homes that are single story and flooded, there is that 50% FEMA rule, which again, that's in our St. Pete relocation guide. The details on that, so check that out. But the homes that are 2 stories and above, where the living is all on the 2nd story and over, and the 1st story is just the garage, those homes, they did pretty well during the hurricane. So those are typically the newer homes. So St. Pete Beach is all there. If being near the water is a good pick, then being anywhere is St. Pete Beach, or even Gulfport, or even Pasadena is a great spot. And that brings us to the final area that we're going to talk about. And this is a new construction area, and really the best option for new construction and being near St. Pete, and one of my top picks for new construction in Tampa Bay in general, and that is the Parrish area. So Parrish is right here. So you wouldn't really think about this being part of Tampa Bay. You'd almost think about it being more part of Bradenton or Sarasota, which is what I thought when I first moved here. But really, Parrish is its whole own area. Like it's got new construction, and like the drive from some of these communities, for instance, want to see the travel times, and we want to do St. Pete. Let's just do St. Pete. So it's a 27-minute drive to downtown St. Pete. So that's why it's been a popular destination for folks that want new construction but want to still be near St. Pete. Because if you want to, say, do Wesley Chapel or one of the lagoon communities like Epperson, well, you're going to be a lot further. Yeah, hour 30 minutes from St. Pete. And so this is why St. Pete is gotten, really, in my opinion, I think a lot of people are choosing St. Pete over, or choosing Parrish over Wesley Chapel and choosing St. Pete over Tampa, is because Parrish is a great suburb for being, within under 30 minutes to St. Pete. And then also, because you're so close to St. Pete, you're so close to the beach, so you can also get to the beach within 45 minutes, which is made it really, really popular, especially since from a price perspective, it's really not too much different from Wesley Chapel. The prices are roughly the same, if not less. The main con you're dealing with in Parrish is a lot of this area is not nearly as built out as, like, say, Wesley Chapel. So if I just drop my pin in here, yeah, it's not, they haven't even updated but I'm telling you, it looks pretty much like this. Like, you got some new construction going on, but then it's cow fields for cow pastures for most of it, or just open fields. North River Ranch, we'll probably do a whole video on the new construction here in the Parrish area, but North River Ranch is one of the more popular master plan communities that would be considered a suburb of St. Pete. And again, what's cool about this is not only are you under 30 minutes from St. Pete, you're under 45 minutes from the beach, and you're under 30 minutes from Tampa. So that's why Parrish is such a popular spot. Anyhow, I hope this video was super, super helpful. Again, me and my wife are realtors here in the Tampa Bay area, and we would love to help you with your home buying journey to St. Pete. If this video was interesting, we'd appreciate a like and a subscribe. And again, our St. Pete relocation guide has more information on tons of stuff, including navigating insurance, navigating builder incentives, navigating construction, and all kinds of stuff about St. Pete. So check that out, and we'll see you on the next video.